my peoples, I am Gandhi, and today this is Gandhi's Thoughts number 43, and I will be covering the Halo Waypoint Bulletin, or the Halo Bulletin, whatever you feel like calling it. I don't know. This is my first one I've actually ever thoroughly read, because it's the one that means the most to me, because it's all about the weapon tuning and the changes that are going to be made June 3rd. Now, I know there's a pretty good article written up by Bravo. I'll link it in the description in the YouTube video, but really, I'm not here to read everything to you guys. I'm here to talk about just a couple things that stuck out to me, and I think will stick out to everyone else as well. Now, as everyone knows, everyone's heard like the weapon tuning, like the BR's getting the damage buff and everything like that. But we didn't get everything, right? Because everyone was kind of like, well, are we going to get a two-shot beatdown? And then in the original model that Ghost and Ninja went out to fly out to test, it wasn't a two-shot melee. So, it's okay, guys. I got it covered for you. So, they have announced right here at the bottom that it will actually be a two-shot melee. We also see that the battle rifle rate of fire has been slightly decreased. Don't really take any mention of that, because it's like a 0.2 second difference. It went from like a 1.41 to around a like 1.43. Not that big of a deal. It's still a very, very fast kill time. It's still exactly what we want. So the BR is now a 4-shot kill. We're happy. Everyone's happy about this. Also, I hope this mic is a little bit better than the Astro mic. I don't know what's going on with the sound. It could be the mixamp. I'm not sure. I downloaded the firmware. Don't start with me. It doesn't exist. Anyways, so the two-shot melee, in case you guys did not play Halo 3, the reason why it's so big, and the reason why it's going to make a big impact on the Halo 4 competitive scene especially, is you know when you're playing Team Throwdown, and you have this guy the guy's just caught in the worst position. He's like coming up, just take Haven, right? You're like top blue ramp, and he's coming around, and he's just sprinting, and you get like 2 shots into him. And then he melees you once, and then you go to melee, right? Out of instinct, you melee. You're not going to finish. You're going to shoot 3 shots in melee. You go to melee, and then he kills you. He got rewarded for being a dumber player in a lucky situation. Now, fast forward, same scenario with the weapon tuning. You get those 2 shots into the dude, bam, melee, he's dead. Sure, your shields are cracked, but you know what? You're alive, and you're better than him. So that's going to add a little bit of a skill gap, just because you don't want these sprinting Samanthas running straight at you at all times, just double melee, and it takes away from the fun in the game, which is up close. Like, I used to love up close back in Halo 2 and Halo 3. It was one of my favorite things in the world. But then, you know, like the 3-shot beatdown is just like, it's nothing that's programmed in our mind, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, you gotta adjust. Well, no, it's not necessarily how it works. You can just make it a 2-shot beatdown, so I'm really, really happy that you guys actually did make that switch. I think that was awesome. The other switch that we saw was the carbine, the accuracy's better, yada yada, but the one that people really need to focus on here is the light rifle. Alright, so first thing that's going to jump out at you is this. Bam! I know I've talked about it before, but this is like the final settings. This is exactly what they've announced. So this is going to be scary, right? And the reason why it's going to be scary is because even when you zoom in now with the light rifle, I feel like I'm God, right? You literally chunk through people so fast. Yeah, I mean, you get those 2 shots on a guy going up to Simplex, right? Like Simplex, you're sitting top yellow, there's a guy running up to purple. You get those 2 shots in on him when he's in, then he's no shield, you call it out to your teammates. It's a wash, right? And now with the 4-shot BR, it's even bigger, because now they only have to hit 2 shots. Now, with the zoomed-in rate of fire, I don't know how fast of a zoomed-in rate of fire increase it actually is, but if I can get 3 shots on a guy going from their base to purple, he's going to be a 1-shot going in to top purple, which is cool for the teamwork sense, but God, that's going to be annoying for people online, because host is going to abuse that. Now, it's something very, very small, I think, to really hit at, but that is my only worry with it. I don't really see it being that big of a difference maker. All in all, I think the light rifle is going to be fun. I think it's going to be the weapon that you want to pick up over the DMR, because the DMR's like range of red has been decreased. Whatever. Doesn't matter. It doesn't mean anything to me. So, when June 3rd comes out, I want you guys picking up light rifle a lot. I want you guys picking it up, testing it, seeing what's going on with it, and then from there, you'll be okay. Right? Because I really think it's gonna be like a long distance saw. Like, it's just gonna be murdering through people, and we'll see how it actually works out. Right? All we could do is just wait. But the other thing is as I scroll down here, the assault rifles, like all the up close weapons, they got a damage buff. But they also got their auto aim reduced, and basically what that means is people actually have to lead their shots. But I was watching scrims last night, and I don't know if you guys have actually noticed this either from watching the competitive side of things, but like a drift is littered, just littered. It literally looks like downtown LA, just completely, or actually, really, it looks more like New Jersey. It looks like New Jersey, just but littered with up-close weapons. There's suppressors all over the place. There's fucking assault rifles. It's barely a competitive map as it is, and then they throw all that crap in there, so it's even kind of worse. But anyways, what that's going to mean is essentially that in those narrow corridors, like smalls, there's no point of BRing, man. There really isn't. Like, if you grab that suppressor, or whatever, let's just call it the suppressor, right at your small lift, and there's a guy at second door, don't even bother with the BR. Just Y or hold X or whatever it is for you to pick up your weapon. Hold X, jump the fucking second door, and just suppress that little bastard down, because you're going to annihilate him. The kill time's got to be increased, but so basically there is less auto aim, but there's an increased rate of fire, so you actually have to lead your shots. But if you guys remember Halo 1, which is I do very, very vividly, the assault rifle didn't have that much auto aim, and it used to chunk through people, right? And the key is you basically strafe with it, and so you're like, and what it does is it just kind of filters. Like, when you watch formal snipe and it like drags a snipe, and then ends up hitting the guy in the head, and you're like, what the fuck, that wasn't a headshot, that was a shoulder? It's going to be the same thing with the assault rifle. You're going to, because you're not going to get stuck on the guy. It's no longer going to be, you want to do a little bit of a whip, and it's going to cover their entire body, and you're going to shred through their shields. And that's going to be good. It's also going to be really annoying. So I think with this update, where Ghosts, you're going to have to reevaluate some V4 game types, because all these up-close weapons are really, they may hinder the competitive scene, but they may help it. We have to wait for it, obviously, for V5, or V4.7, 2, 3, 9, 12, whatever it is you want to do, I don't care. But that's my first worry, right? I care about the competitive scene, man. Care about anything else. Moving forward here, the next thing they decided to upload, if you guys will see in the highlighted text, also the global skill searching or CSR, blah, 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 will be increased once again for all playlists. The increase will help ensure matchmaking is primarily searching for both teammates and opponents at your per playlist CSR level. And what does that mean in non-343 jargon? What that means is basically, so before how matchmaking worked was there was a set timer, let's just call it 60 seconds. There was a 60-second timer when you're searching for a match that if you don't find anyone in your skill range, 343 or Halo 4 would just match you with anyone. That's when you get those games where you just are pummeling people, right? You guys win like 50 to 10, you're like, what the hell? CSR totally didn't work. So the reason that happened was they wanted to increase playlist productivity, and they wanted to promote people getting their level 50s, and they wanted more people playing and then having less downtime. But then they reevaluated and said, well, clearly this is a little bit flawed. What we need to do is, wait for it, increase the time so people can match up against people they actually are able to compete with. Now that's huge. I don't know if you guys have ever played any other game with a competitive playlist, assuming you guys came from Halo Reach. Obviously you haven't, but like, not even talking Halo 2, like League of Legends for a perfect example here. When you constantly get matched up with people your skill, it really lets you work on everything. Like, you don't have to, like, people who are fresh into the scene, and by fresh, we got a couple new faces here and there. I mean, I've noticed just from new followers and new subscribers and people sending me emails that a lot of people are new to the competitive community here for Halo 4. They were like, oh, I can't believe I missed out on this. I really love Halo, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, they don't have to worry about a minute going past as they're like a level 14. A minute going past, getting matched up with Ninja, Pistola, Formal, Maven, right? Because everyone knows Maven's just all over the place. But they don't have to worry about that anymore. So now they can actually play against people their skill level and actually get better. Now, the best thing about this is they also announced, which I didn't highlight it and I didn't screenshot it, but screw you, it doesn't matter. They also announced that with this bigger thing here, with the big party time is what I think they... Hold on, let me give me a second here. I don't know. It's something with like big party time, something to that extent. Doesn't matter. Anyways, basically, when you join solo, you're not going to get matched up against parties of 3s and parties of 4s. Which it's been like that recently, right? Like everyone kind of knows it, but now it's like set in stone. Like you will not get matched up against a party of 4 if you're going in as a duo. Right? But so obviously party of 3s, it's going to happen, and they're going to get another person who's joined solo, and then you're going to play against a party of 4. It's inevitable. But what's good about that is that's basically like a solo playlist, like a solo/duo playlist, as well as a 4v4 playlist, right? So people can kind of look at this as a competitive side and go, hey, well, you know what? Maybe if I get my solo level 50, people will notice me because people go in as teams of 3, and then I can get on their team, I can play with pros, I can show them that I'm fucking good, and then I can get better and better and better, moving forward. Now I'm on a team, I'm at Knoxville, you know what I'm saying? Like these are the things we look for here. So that is very, very good. Coffee break. This is good. That was good. Now, so with that said, I think the CSR is going in the right direction with the matchmaking and everything. And now here's the part which... Hold on. Where did it go? Oh, never mind. Okay. Here's the part that... Nope, wrong one. Here's the part that scares the shit out of me, right? This is the only part, right here. Just take that all in, right? Lastly, base player movement speed has been increased from 100% to 110 across all playlists and modes. Fuck! Dude, Master Chiefs are going to be woo! Alright, so listen. Halo 3, Halo Reach. Movement speed was increased due to there being no sprint. The reason why some of the movement speed was increased in Halo 3, simple example here, on Pit Capture the Flag, you could not jump from the platform to green box without it. They also increased the jump height that you had. So that's why MLG decided to do that. They said, oh, that's more dynamic, and it doesn't break the game. In fact, it makes it better. It's good reasoning. Halo Reach, they just increased it, I think kind of for the same exact reasons. I don't actually remember the reasoning behind it. I gotta think it was something to do with like countdowns and stuff like that, but they also, on certain maps, they also added like sandbags so people could jump on and jump off, because sprint, you used to get those long distance jumps, right? But so, 110% movement speed with sprint, right, you're gonna be fucking Usain Bolt. And the only thing that scares me about that is like, I just picture in my head, like a 10% increase. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but you gotta take that 10% and then add it with sprint, right? Like, I'm just picturing Skyline, people just gone, right? Like, and yeah, we have a faster kill time, so maybe, I'm assuming that's why they increased it, but if, ideally what we'd want is the no sprint, and then bring in the 110%, because then every map's going to play fine. I think we could, even with 110% movement speed, I think a Drift Capture the Flag could still be played. I think. Don't quote me on that shit, though. It would probably have to be 3 flag. Flag not at home to score. Just because, like, who wants to watch a fucking 5 flag game and 1-0, right? Like, that's awful. It's just terrible to watch. Moving forward here. So, I'm worried about this, but I don't think it's I don't know if it's going to be like game breaking or anything like that, but I think the big thing here for me is like how much of an impact is this going to have with people getting away, right? Like, that's the worst feeling, especially online. And the big thing about it being online is that it's like, you know, people get away as is. So you take an online experience where there's no dedicated servers, obviously, right? You take an online experience, which is always frustrating. Every first-person shooter is just frustrating. Doesn't matter what it is, Call of Duty, Halo, Gears of War, it's always frustrating online. It just is. That's the nature of the beast. And you give them sprint and you increase their movement speed so they can fucking get out of town. I don't know. That's the only thing I'm worried about. This was the only part, so once again, this was the only part I was worried about. Is right here at the very top, highlighted up. But other than that, I think I really like the direction 343 is going in. And I think it's definitely for the best, and I think it was much needed. But you know what's kind of funny here is there's this little excerpt way down in the bottom here. Right, coming in hot. Hold on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Right here. Look at this. So if you read this, lastly, the multiplayer design team has been updating all of Halo 4's maps with new weapon ordnance locations, new weapon drops, updated starting and objective spawns, and new forge objects to diversify and balance gameplay. For example, Haven now uses red and blue spawns, lifts, and colored halls across all game types. Abandon has some crates added as well as central, whatever the fuck that word is, overshield for optimized map flow, and much more. What does that sound like to everyone, huh? That sounds like the Team Throwdown playlist, right? Like that's the maps. I think I don't know I don't know if it's on purpose or I don't know if it's like 343 extending their hand out to like the competitive community, but obviously they're kind of realizing that the competitive community kind of has an idea of how map flow should work. Salute to Gosayami, regardless of your little sprint debacle. So that's awesome, right? So across all the playlists now, you're going to have the same Haven, you're going to have the same Abandon. Obviously, you have Simplex, which is going to be the same across all playlists as well. But you know, I think that's like a good sign of good faith. But the thing that like I'm just like, right, is like, why did they wait so long to worry about the competitive scene? And I know I'm not here to like attack 343, but it's just like, you know, we like. Every one of us, it doesn't matter if you're brand new, every one of us, well actually no, it does matter if you're brand new, not talking to you. If you've been a part of MLG since 2002, anytime between 2002 and now, right, like the 2012 season, obviously because 2013 there was no Halo, if you've been a part of that, you know what a good game is. You know how map flow works, you know where things should be. Sure, you may have your own different perspective on it, but different perspective, I mean, we live, our reality is nothing but perception, right? They say only thing we see like 70% of real because of our perception influencing everything, right? So obviously, but everyone here knows like what it takes to have a good map, a good game, and everything. It's just weird that now they're catering to it. Now, what do I think that means to us? Now, a lot of people have been sending me tweets this morning, and they were like, as soon as I announced it, they were like, oh, what does this mean? Is Halo coming back? It's a good question, man. I don't think I'm the person to answer that. Although I'm probably in the position to answer it. But you know, it's kind of questionable to come out on this podcast and say, oh man, or come onto my podcast and say, oh yeah, Halo's back, right? Just because of a weapon tuning and everything like that. It's really, really hard. The numbers have to dictate themselves. The game has to really promote itself at this point. You know, a lot of people have put it down just from the beginning and not liking everything and it going away from traditional Halo, right? And that's for everyone. You know, everyone loved the campaign. I've heard nothing but good things about the campaign. Obviously, I don't play the campaign. That on my face. But so, I don't know. It's going to help. And really, what everyone should be worried about here, or focusing on, not worried about, what everyone should be focusing on right here is the fact that 343 has taken one fucking giant leap for developers, or for them, right? Not developers, I can't speak on all their behalf because Call of Duty listens to the competitive scene fucking entirely and they have an amazing game. But they took one giant leap for them and they, kind of extended their hand out. They said, look, we're going to try to forge this thing together. We're going to try to be a duo, blah, blah, blah. Like, we want to work with the competitive community because of X, which makes sense. And the big thing here is that they're listening to us and they're actually implementing things that make a difference for us. For us. And that's the best thing that can happen. So will the numbers skyrocket? Who the fuck knows? Most likely, we may see an increase of a couple. But like I've said time and time again, right? It doesn't matter. Like, sure, it looks better for, Halo 4, right? It doesn't matter how many people are playing, right? It matters how many people actually watch, right? So we have what? We have like 700 people like in the normal time in Team Throwdown playlist. I'm fine with. Right now it's lower because there's no 4SK settings. If you're in the Team Throwdown playlist, you're not right now you're not in that playlist because you have to worry about 4SK. You're a competitor. You want to get better. You're not there to fucking play a game, like a previous version of a game, right? Essentially, you want to stay with the meta. You want to stay on top of things. And so I understand that. So that's why it's a little bit lower. But back to what I was saying, if we had 700 people in Team Throwdown, and at AGL Nashville we had what? 6,700 people to 7,000 people concurrent watching, and then at AGL Pittsburgh, where there was no real top team, right? Like no one team there that was really good. We had Ninja and Snipedown make their appearance, right? And APG, but you didn't have like Ambush versus Warriors, and we hit past 4,000, which the same event at New Jersey, basically, AGL 4, I think it is. They had like 1,000 concurrent, right? Like, so what matters is the concurrence in the viewer sense, because once again, right, like Halo 4 has sold their copies. They are fine. Like 343 Studios is fine. Yeah, now they just want to work on, polishing it up and making it look better and better and better and restoring faith, because obviously they have to look at the numbers and say something fucking drastically needs to change. And we don't know what it was. And I think they're in the right direction for this. So Halo 5, we can fucking cross our fingers, right? Obviously, I am a humongous pessimist. I don't think it takes many people to assume otherwise, but, I've just seen it time and time again. But, with these changes, I really think it's going to be for the better. Now, can we worry about flinch? No, we can't. Flinch is something that is just not going to be taken out of this game. It would take a whole fucking patch, right? Just not worth it. I think if anything, from this point on, if I can influence you guys on anything, I think we should kind of push, little push, for, I don't know, something simple like taking out sprint, right? Because if they have the ability to do so already, then that's something that we can try to push for, because that's realistic, right? I think with 110 speed, with no sprint, I think we have a game that's really starting to resemble traditional Halo. Other than that, this was the Halo 4 Bulletin, or the Halo Bulletin, written by Bravo. Bravo, good job on writing it up. This is my first article I've ever read all the way through, but actually no, I lied to you. I did not read all the way through. I didn't read the Halo 4 screenshot spotlight right here. I didn't do that. This was not me. I did not read that. That ain't me. But everything else was great. I definitely like the way you guys are heading, and I pray to God, fuck God, that this game comes out swinging for the fences June 3rd. Other than that, some sad news. I'm just going to drop at the end of this. Actually, no, I have two things. I'm going to drop two pieces of sad news on you guys. Well, actually, one piece of sad news, one piece of good news. Number one. There's a good chance that after AGL Knoxville, I will be having to take a huge hiatus from casting tournaments, depending on how the tournaments fall. I got my job drop. I'm a number one, so basically the next available position, I get hired, and they're assuming it's around mid-July. So that's awesome for me, right? But it sucks because I may have to be missing a couple events. That's going to happen. The other thing is, though, is I passed 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, so I'm pretty fucking pumped about that. Oh, also, back to number one. Don't worry, I'm still going to be doing these exact same things, but they're going to be set skewed times, right? Because it basically is shift work, so 7 to 7 and 7 to 7. So whether it's AM to PM or PM to AM. So I'll still be doing content. I'll still be following the scene. You don't have to worry about that, but at tournaments you may not be seeing me cast. I'm sorry. I love you. I love you. Now the other thing, right? The other thing is that I said once I get to 4,000 subscribers, I'll be doing some giveaways. I have 3 squid grips, an Astro mixamp, and some other shit. An MLG controller, an MLG mousepad. I got a bunch of shit that I'm willing to give away. So stay tuned. Follow me on Twitter. Bang. If you have any questions, throw it up to my email, which is in my Twitter. Other than that, stay tuned. I'll be giving away some free shit throughout the rest of the duration here. Other than that, I love you. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.